Today I thought I would have tea with you, or water, or coffee, or juice, whatever you're drinking, maybe a cocktail. Happy New Year. I wanted to take this opportunity of going into 2022, hard to believe, and share with you what I have learned over the last 2 years in terms of lowering stress and grounding myself and developing healthy habits for a better life. So if you're interested, grab your beverage and let's start. This is my partner in crime and definitely a great way to ground and force myself to take walks and go outside when I don't want to. And accept whatever mood he's in, no matter what I want. Let's start a little bit further back in time. In medical school and primarily residency. As doctors, training doctors in residency, basically, we learn to ignore our body and all of the signals that we're getting from our body. The need to sleep, the need to eat, the need to relax has to be completely ignored. That's what you really learn through residency. You have to power through ignoring all the signals. And if you can't, then you are a weak resident and perhaps not fit for the program. I remember when I was a resident, I would sometimes have to go to my call room or the bathroom in the middle of the night just to do some jumping jacks or running in one spot just to force myself to wake up because I had to keep going. It's different when there's a trauma or some catastrophe and your adrenaline kicks in and you're wide awake. But on a routine call where you're working and you have to be thinking, but there's nothing to be, there's no adrenaline being released by your body, it can be challenging. Many residents gain a lot of weight during residency because even though hospitals should be a center for health, most cafeteria food is horribly unhealthy, and the resident diet is usually a vending machine and the local cafeteria. And eating is usually on the go, so you're not mindful of whether you're eating too much or whether you're full. Your headspace is somewhere else, and you're just feeding yourself in order to not feel hungry. So it's a tough time. And then graduating from residency, those habits are hard to break. And to give you an idea of where my life was in 2020, during that year, I had worked 126 night shifts. I developed a pretty good system for how to convert my circadian rhythm back and forth, sleep in the day, work at night, and then convert back to day, and then back to night. And if you're interested, I can make a video about what I did to be able to switch back and forth all the time. But it wasn't easy, and it's certainly not easy on your body. So in 2021, I spent a lot of time finding ways to recover from my burnout and just this adrenal overload, adrenal depletion and exhaustion, and get my body back up to a healthy energy. So I'd love to share with you what really works for the body. And the first thing I'll mention is frequencies, music. Our bodies are electromagnetic and we respond to vibrations. And when sound is produced, it always has a particular frequency. Science has discovered over time what frequencies calm the body, what frequencies are good for meditation and relaxation. And so there are YouTube channels that play various types of sounds, whether you're interested in going into a deep sleep or a meditation or relaxation. They can be very helpful. And I will link the one YouTube channel that I play to get those sounds. And if I'm not in the mood to play those frequency sounds, sometimes I will just put on a spa music playlist. And that type of music also is very soothing and it calms the nervous system. The next thing I'll mention, which goes with a sound, is meditation. And traditionally, when people think of meditation, you have your eyes closed and you are trying to think of nothing. And most people find that impossible to do. And there's all the education about how to quiet your mind, observe your thoughts. But there's another way you can get yourself in a more meditative state without going through the effort of trying to turn off your mind. And if you go for a walk and you keep your eyes open, but you really use your vision to see everything. All your senses are coming from your eyes, and you really see the tree and the leaves in front of you and the wind rustling the leaves. And you really see the nature in front of you. And when you really look and are completely connected to what you're looking at, it comes so much more alive. And you will notice, I promise you this because this happens to me all the time, you might take a walk down a path that you've taken 1,000 times and you will see things you've never seen before. You will see a new tree that's always been there, but you've never noticed it. It's absolutely amazing. And that is a type of meditation, because when your focus is on what you're looking at and what you're seeing, you tend to stop thinking about other stuff and the noise subsides. And so it's you and the nature in front of you. And that's absolutely a type of meditation that calms the nervous system. And you're not trying not to think and sitting with your eyes closed, because that really isn't for everyone. And especially people who have a hard time sitting still. A walking meditation is a phenomenal idea to try. And I'd love to know if you've ever tried it and what you think about it. Another thing I've started, but I don't do this daily. In fact, I don't even do this weekly, but occasionally I will journal. And that catharsis of thoughts onto paper through handwriting can really be helpful. So I know some people journal every day. So all of these tips are really, as I always say with skincare, individual dependent. So some may work phenomenally well for you, and others you might say, I tried it, it's not for me. Or you might even say, I don't even want to try it, and that's completely fine. We all have our unique ways of relaxing. Another thing I started this year is the Wim Hof breathing technique. I will link that down below as well. And he is also called the Iceman. He has a website and a YouTube channel. He is someone who has developed cold therapy and hyperventilation to control your parasympathetic nervous system. And it's a great way to tap into a deeper level of your physical self, and it really calms the nervous system. So the breathing exercises are an 11-minute, essentially, hyperventilation and breath holding. And he combines that with cold therapy, whether you sit in an ice cold tub or take a cold shower, or sometimes jump into the freezing cold Pacific, which I will occasionally do with a group of my friends that also enjoy doing these exercises. And in the vein of meditation and these types of exercises, one thing I've learned is that it allowed me to get more in touch with my intuition. And the beautiful thing about that is I have completely dropped the pros and cons list. I used to write the pros and the cons whenever I had a difficult decision to make and I was torn and I didn't know what to do, or I would ask all of my friends what their opinion and what their advice was. But these techniques of going in have strengthened my intuition to the point where I drop the pros and cons list and I just quiet myself and I listen. And that intuition is never wrong. The pros and cons lists, sometimes they're wrong. And if you're going to take that journey to quiet your nervous system, maybe go inward, maybe enable your intuition to speak more loudly to you, you will notice is when trouble hits, you will process the emotions that you're feeling, whether it's anger or sadness, and you will sit with them and you will feel them, process them, and let them go, versus checking out, which I think is very much what we used to do, all of us, before the world slowed down in the last 2 years. And when I say checking out, I mean you have a problem, but you decide to drink it away with alcohol or numb out of it with pot or even binge watching a TV show. And I'm not saying binge watching is bad. I do it occasionally, but I mean when you're running away from something and tapping into a numbing behavior that doesn't actually solve the problem or help you deal with those feelings or help you recover from whatever you're feeling to move on. And I think numbing out is something that all of us did up until the world stopped a year, almost 2 years ago. So I've been much more mindful of that, and I find that I don't have emotional hangovers. I don't have things lingering in the background. Things come, feelings come, I feel them, I work them out, I understand why did I feel this way, I process it, and then I can let it go. And journaling, if you like journaling, that can be an important component to that as well. Another thing, especially having worked so many nights and having such a totally screwed up circadian rhythm, is I started being very mindful of healthy, good sleep. I got bed sheets that were really soft and felt nice to my skin. I made sure I had comfortable pillows. I actually paid attention to how my body felt when I went to bed, and that has made a huge difference in my sleep and the quality of my sleep, and just enjoying that getting ready for bed experience. And with that, I will add the use of diffusers and essential oils. I got a beautiful diffuser for Christmas, which it's hypnotic to me. It looks like an alchemy. To me, I associated with some old alchemy lab where they're boiling potions and lotions, and I just think it's magical, and so I really enjoy looking at it. But the point is the essence and the essential oil. There are soothing and calming oils that we absorb through our nose, our olfactory system. And believe it or not, our olfactory system is the only part of our nervous system which goes straight to our brain. There's no, usually everything has a checkpoint, merges through one part of our brain called the thalamus, and the sense of smell bypasses that and goes straight into the brain. That's why we can have such extremely vivid memories associated with scent and fragrance. So that's another important element that can really bring on a calming sensation to the body. When it comes to technology, there are a couple of things I did. I never have my phone in my bedroom. It's sort of a household rule. I think it's great for kids growing up because they all want their phones in the bedroom, and then you never know what time they go to bed. There's just no reason to have your phone in your bedroom, and there's also no reason when you wake up to, the first thing when your eyes open is to hit that screen and see what's new on Instagram, who texted, who emailed. When you wake up, well, now when I wake up, I take a moment to check in, and I actually do this twice a day and sometimes throughout the day, especially if I'm stressed or if there's something happening, I will check in with myself. And I can't believe how impactful and helpful this has been. What I mean by that is, for a moment, just going inside and feeling and asking myself, what am I feeling? And I will feel, oh, I'm really tight here. Oh, my shoulders are curled. Oh, my shoulders are elevated. I'm feeling really stressed. And when I can feel those things, then I can say, okay, relax the shoulders, breathe deeply, open your chest. And when you do that check-in and you undo the tension that you subconsciously are carrying, that can really help. And it usually helps you breathe as well. We often stop breathing when we're stressed or tense. So this encourages us to be in alignment and just check in with our bodies. One more thing about phones and screens in general, I try to not look at the light that's emitted from a screen about an hour before bed, because the bright light that we experience from screens, it basically tells our pineal gland, which is the gland that secretes melatonin, which is the molecule that tells our body it's nighttime and it's time to sleep. So it regulates our circadian rhythm, and it also helps us fall asleep and be able to go into a state of sleep. When you have bright lights going into your eyes, your brain and your pineal gland understands that it's not nighttime, it's daytime, and it won't secrete the melatonin that you need in order to wind down and fall asleep. And the other thing I do on my phone to reduce that brightness and also to reduce the blue light emitting from the screen is I always have my night mode on. And you can turn that on your phone if you basically set it to turn on. Let's say you set it to turn on at 1 p.m. and you set it to turn off at 12:59 p.m. And so it's off for a minute and then it turns back on. So I have my night mode on my phone all the time to reduce the brightness that goes into my eyes and to reduce blue light. And the last thing that I'll mention are Qigong exercises that I started doing. I'd never heard of Qigong. I didn't know what it is, and I still don't quite know how to explain it. I think it's like Tai Chi but faster. And there's a phenomenal teacher, again on YouTube, and I will link these exercises also down below. He does 10 or 20-minute exercises for the morning and for the evening. So it depends on how much time you have. If you only have 10 minutes or if you have 20 minutes, you choose the video that fits your time schedule. And it's brilliant these exercises are brilliant for the spine if you're sitting over a computer all day. Like when I edit videos, I sit and edit for hours, hunched over on my computer. And so these exercises, they move your spine. So the discs move, the fluid in the discs move. They don't get stiff and rigid, and it opens your chest when you've been kind of scrunched down all day. I absolutely love them. So I will share them with you. I would love to know if you try them or if you enjoy them, or if you've ever heard of Qigong, because I had never heard of it until a friend of mine sent me these. And lastly, I will say nutritious food. This hasn't really been a change for me in the last 2 years because I've always enjoyed cooking and I've always enjoyed eating healthy, but I do think what your food is the fuel for this vehicle. So what you put in it is extremely important, and I feel the difference. I don't feel the difference when I eat well, I just feel normal, but when I don't eat well, I feel it. I kind of feel like I have a rock in my stomach and all I want to do is sleep. So I do try to eat healthy most of the time. I would love to know what you do for relaxation and calming of the nervous system. Have you done any of the things that I mentioned in this video? And do you do things I haven't mentioned in this video that you could teach me about? I would love to know. So please leave me a comment and let me know. If you try any of these techniques for the first time, I'd also love to know your thoughts on them. And with that, I wish you guys the best possible new year and a better future for all of us.